Welcome back to episode 17 of Project X, where we're taking you on a journey with us to find private label product opportunities, teaching you along the way so that you can build your own business using these same simple methods. Welcome to another episode. As I said, my name is Bradley Sutton from Helium 10. I'm joined by
Tim Jordan from Private Label Legion.
And this is actually now the first full episode that we're fully gating only to you Freedom Ticket students out there, all right? So this is not available on YouTube. You guys who are here in the Freedom Ticket program get a little something special here. And so we are gonna go into a little bit more advanced strategies. I'm gonna be a little bit more open with some of these mistakes that I referred to in the previous episode. You guys, we're gonna dive into it so that you can avoid it. And in this episode, we're gonna talk about how I almost lost the company, where I did lose the company $3,000, but I got it back, how I did that, how you can avoid that. We're gonna talk about all these times that I ran out of inventory, and now something new that is definitely gonna help me never run out of inventory again on Project X. And what are you going to be talking about today, Tim?
I'm talking about some different research strategies, right? And by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about with Project X, if you just ran into this through Freedom Ticket, Project X is the case study that Bradley and I did initially on YouTube, where we walked people through finding these Yeti products and these better mousetrap ideas. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, watch all the Project X episodes, including the last one, which just recently launched, episode 16.
Yep.
But
you'll see that right here in Freedom Ticket too, by the way. You don't have to go to YouTube for that. It's right here in Freedom Ticket.
One of the main differentiators of Project X as far as content, versus a lot of the mainstream content out there, is the concept of looking for products away from Amazon first and validating them on Amazon, right? So today I'm going to share with you some never publicly shared content. I've showed it to my inner circle, my mastermind group, but I've never shared it to a large scale. Some different research strategies and locations for product idea generation. So it's gonna be good.
All right. Now let's hop right in to the thing that I think so many sellers are like me and they get into trouble is they either have too little inventory and they run out, or conversely, what happens?
They have way too much inventory. They're stuck with long-term storage fees and they can't move it fast enough.
All right. So Tim just talked about why you don't want too much inventory. You're gonna be paying Amazon money, or maybe you've got your inventory in a 3PL warehouse and you're paying them all the storage. But how does having too much inventory also hurt how fast you can scale?
Well, because you've got your money tied up in inventory. So if you need money for operations, for advertising, for other SKUs maybe that you want to launch, or that are maybe scaling faster, selling faster, all that inventory is just cash tied up that you can't use to forge your business in other ways.
Yep. And so guys, everybody, now I couldn't say this before on YouTube, but now it's a Freedom Ticket. Everybody here who's watching this video, you guys are all also Helium 10 members, all right? So what I want you to do, and this is what I've started to do ever since 2 months ago when this first came out, is to use the inventory management within Profits in Helium 10 to help with that. And I'm just gonna show you guys the screen here, some of these products. Like right now, the Black Coffin Shelf has been out of stock. I've been out of stock for about 2 weeks now, but take a look at how many guys I have on order. This is not gonna happen again. I've got 2 orders of about 2,000 units that are on the way. One I've been trying to get all day today, and the rest of the last couple of weeks has been stuck up there at the port in LA. It's gonna come in a few days. And then I had a backup order of 2,000. And to me, just thinking about that, I'm ordering another PO of 2,000 before this one even gets here, but the software told me to do it. And guess what, guys? That's why I was running out, because I was just trusting my own intuition, let me just have an idea about how much I need, or I'm selling about 10 a day. Guys, that's not the way to manage your inventory. If one day, let's say you don't have Helium 10 and you're not able to use this, you still need a lot better system than trying to eyeball your inventory. So obviously you haven't used this much because this is brand new here. What did you used to do in order to make sure that you weren't a knucklehead like me and ran out of inventory for your products?
Well, to be honest with you, I used to use the old spray and pray method too, which is I would just fire off some numbers to my suppliers that have my VAs, try to figure this out. But it's a little bit too complex to do manually, especially if you have multiple SKUs. For one thing, there are seasonal bumps that you have to take into consideration. There are things like accurate accounting of lead times, right? A lot of times we forget how long it actually takes to get stuff rolling. There are margins of error that we need to consider. There are rapid increases in velocity that sometimes we don't consider. So over the past week, if our stuff is ramping up quickly and we're only looking at the past 30 and 60 days, we're gonna have inaccurate data. The other thing that we do is sometimes we mentally think about the big days. Oh man, I sold 20 units of this SKU yesterday. Great, 20 units. And that's what we stick in our head, 20 units a day, and we forecast that when we actually need analytics to say, well, that was a high, but generally you're averaging at 14 units a day, you know? So this stuff makes inventory forecasting extremely simple. And let's just say, on the other hand, you know, there are a lot of really smart people that could build out spreadsheets and projections and do this manually. You don't absolutely have to have software, but what you do need is time. So even if you could manually do this, it would take you a long time every day of tracking differences in velocities. And so you need to outsource your time, because time is the one thing that you have very limited amounts of. So even if you could do it manually, especially with multiple SKUs, get a tool like this, let it outsource your inventory projections so that you don't screw up by ordering way too much or way too little.
Yep, absolutely. So guys, make sure to take advantage of this. Whether or not you're using the software, you have got to take advantage of the time that you have. You know, as soon as you start selling, don't figure, hey, I got 1,000, 2,000 units, I don't have to think about this for a while. If you have sales velocity, you need to be plugging in some numbers somewhere, not in Helium 10, at least in your spreadsheets or something, to start forecasting. And don't just use some kind of model where it's like, all right, my last 7 days of sales is this. This is exactly now I'm going to forecast out 3 months. It doesn't work that way. We've got some advanced algorithms that you can use. There's different forecasting models that we have in Helium 10, depending on the age of your listing and the seasonality of it. So make sure to pick the one that's right for you. And guys, this is really powerful. I mean, you can even create FBA shipments without even going to Seller Central. You can do that within Helium 10. It's kind of crazy. When they first told me we can do that, I was like, what? We can do that? If you have a 3PL warehouse that you're using, we've talked about that in previous episodes, you can manage that inventory right here. You can set up transfer shipments to go from your 3PL warehouse to Amazon. Guys, take advantage of this. Don't be a Bradley and run out of stock multiple times. You know, we talked about the danger of having too much inventory. It's a bigger hit if you run out, because number one, you know, somebody typing in coffin shelf on Amazon right now, if they did it literally right now, let's do it as a matter of fact. Let's go ahead. Hey, today I want to buy a coffin shelf because I am a weirdo. No, I don't want to like disparage our customers, but hey, wait, there's no Manny's Mysterious Oddities, you know, because it's out of stock. What is that customer going to do? Are they going to be like, oh shoot, the Manny's Mysterious Oddities isn't here. I'm gonna wait 3 or 4 weeks until Knucklehead Bradley puts it back in stock. Is that what they're gonna do?
No, they're gonna buy another one.
They're gonna buy another one, especially since everybody pretty much copied ours, because they don't know these brands, you know, from anything. They don't even know that ours is out of stock if they've never seen it before. So guess what? That $31.47 times 20 or 30 per day, we've literally lost that money permanently. That's money we could have gotten because when we're in stock, we're selling 20 or 30 a day. That money is lost permanently. We're never going to get that back. So it is a huge deal if you run out of inventory. So don't be like me. Make sure to keep better management. All right, let's switch gears. You know, I don't want to depress you guys about my failures too much. There's something that we haven't talked about in any of the previous episodes, and that is, guess what, guys? There's other ways to find product opportunity. What we had gone over before is just 1 or 2 of the different ways. Tim is going to talk about stuff. I haven't even heard him talk about this yet. So I just, he told me what he wanted to talk about. I'm like, I'm curious to see what this is that you're going to share. So Tim, take it away.
Yeah, so when we talk about things like this inventory problem, these are screw ups that we had from Project X. But when we look back to the most successful content, and then when I say successful, I mean the stuff that you, the listeners, were most excited about and you know, kind of move the needle the most in adjusting the way you find products, it was the places that we go and do product research. So some of the stuff that I want to share with you now is stuff I've only developed over the past 6 months, you know, since we originally filmed and launched Project X. And some of it is stuff that I was holding on to a little bit longer, that because this is a smaller viewing audience, not just free YouTube, that I don't mind sharing as much. So again, these are ways, if you look back like episode 2 especially, where we talked about, hey, where do we get ideas to validate later? These are just places to find ideas. All right, So the first one that I want to talk about is I want to talk about gift guides, okay? So we talked about life hack blogs, but gift guides are another type of blog that specifically focus on products, and there's a million of these. Gift guides are also cool because they are typically run by affiliates, okay? Now, the way the affiliate model works is if I'm a digital marketer and I am generating traffic and I'm driving traffic to my website, I usually want to monetize one by ads, but also people clicking on this product and purchasing it. So what that means is these gift guide blog writers spend a phenomenal amount of time researching products that people are going to be interested in, and gift guides by nature are going to be cutting edge, okay? So I'm just going to randomly do this. This is not pre-selected. I just want to go in and look at some gift ideas, all right? So today.com, random website. I can go into interests. Again, I'm just completely pulling this kind of out of my tail, but I just want to show you how I run these rabbit trails, okay? So now I've gone to toys, and these are going to be different gift guides. And look at this, 37 gifts. 7-year-olds, 27 fun and creative gift ideas, 31 toys, right? So if I click on this, I'm going to find 31 different toys. Now again, most of these are already on Amazon, most of these are saturated, but if we're looking for the Yeti, if we're looking for that one product, all we have to find is one. So as we go through here, we literally see these things listed. Now, I told you a lot of these are affiliate sellers, which is great, and a lot of times they're going to be driving traffic back to Amazon or Walmart. It doesn't mean that there's not great niche ideas in here. So obviously things like, Guess Who the game, book, that's not great. I don't know what this is. Squigs starter set?
No idea.
It's sold on Amazon, but let's go see what this thing is. So keywords, oh, it's not even a great listing. Fat Brain Toys, Squigs, so that's a brand. But what I would do now... Oh my God,
look at those bullet points.
Yeah, it's a terrible listing. So this may be patented, like this may be something that we can't copy, but again, literally, this was not a setup. In 2 minutes, I found a product that I didn't know existed. Look at all of the ratings this has. So now what I would do is I'd start running down these rabbit trails by going and looking for different brands. So look, frequently bought together, I see these different related products. I don't actually know what these are. So this is a Whirly Squigs. I guess that's like a fidget spinner. What was that other thing that I saw? Whatever this is. Right here. Dimple Baby.
Dimple Baby Toys and Gifts.
So
I guess you push it or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. So anyways, I'm not saying that you need to go sell this product. My point is, by looking through these gift guides, and look, I could go through here for days and days and days and days just Googling gift guides and finding stuff I didn't know existed, which is the whole first step in finding these Yeti products, right? So gift guides are different than like the life hack bloggers, because life hack bloggers that we talked about earlier in Project X talked about solutions to problems, where gift guides show specific products that should be in demand, right, or new or popular, because if they're not going to be able to sell them as an affiliate, all right? So gift guides are the first one that I want to share with you. The second one I want to talk about is Facebook groups. Now, Facebook groups are becoming more and more diverse, okay? And they're usually diverse in interests. So typically people combine their group power based on the interest that they have that's combined or shared. So the Helium 10 users Facebook group, obviously people aren't in there looking for ideas on how to restore their old muscle cars. They're in there trying to figure out how to use Helium 10 or how to sell more on Amazon. So what I've started doing is finding niche Facebook groups, and Facebook will then recommend other groups to me. So if I follow, and you can find a million groups, but if I follow a local fishing Facebook group, and I get into that group and I start scrolling through, I find people all the time that are saying, hey, have you heard of this product? Hey, what's the best solution for this? It takes a little longer, but I'm able to find stuff very, very far advanced that I've never seen on the internet before. And once I hit a niche in a Facebook group, Amazon will suggest these other groups to me. So I can go down rabbit holes on fishing accessories, and I'm consistently finding fishing. In fact, this year I'm launching some fishing accessories, believe it or not, on Amazon that I have never seen before on any website ever. But I was literally finding things that these old hillbillies in Alabama were making to catch crappie, right? And to accessorize their boats, essentially. So I was able to take that, find something similar on Alibaba, recreate the product, redesign it a little bit, and now I'll be the first one on any e-commerce platform that I've found anywhere in Western society to launch this. So Facebook groups. So Facebook's extremely powerful. And remember, even though you will find 90% of the products listed in there and the ideas and the people making suggestions, you'll find 90% of those are saturated. You only have to find one that's not. So Facebook groups are really powerful. The third one that I want to share today, and the last one, because I want to save a few for later episodes, goes back to Etsy. All right. Now, we talked significantly about Etsy and Project X and how we can find product ideas that are ahead of the Amazon curve, but also differentiation ideas. Since Project X, I was introduced to an amazing software tool, and I know it sounds weird, you know, Project X is put together by Helium 10 and, you know, it's a software company, but we're going to recommend another software tool called Marmalade. Marmalade for me has been a game changer. I think of it kind of like the Helium 10 for Etsy, and it's been extremely powerful to show me different keyword ideas, to show me different categorizations, and also show me the different way in which Etsy indexes their products, which is by user input as opposed to an algorithm. So I'm going to jump into Marmalade, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. All right, so we are in Marmalade right now. Marmalade is fairly inexpensive, and there's some like 14-day free trials you can find. And you don't have to be an Etsy seller to use it. You just have to have an Etsy account, like a free buying account. You can set that up with a Google email address or anything. All right, so let's use some keywords that we've used before in Project X, like egg tray. So it's going to analyze the keywords, and some of the information that it spits out is not necessarily relevant to Amazon. It's going to be more relevant to Etsy. So it might not be 100% relevant to us. So we're going to look at this with a grain of salt and maybe dismiss half of the data on here. But I'm going to show you the really unique things that Marmalade spits out as opposed to Amazon data. So I'm not worried about the long tail stuff. I'm not worried about the engagement, searches, competition, all that stuff. What I'm worried about, or what I'm looking at, one is this is kind of a quick way to see different product variations that pop up. And these are essentially the first listings that pop up when you type in egg tray. We're going to dismiss this mostly. I love this. So what this does is it takes the first few pages of egg trays within Etsy, and it shows me how many of them are across different prices. So like this line, is it saying 4 of them are priced at $24. 1 of them is priced at $48. So you, by looking at this graph, get a spread to the average price. So we see that most of these are going to be $20 to $30, right? So we're thinking about time, like speeding up our process, because time is not infinite. This is a really, really good idea to see the average price on Etsy. So we can even go in here and look at the most expensive one, right? Is $93, and we can find that and see why they decide that's $3. The shipping stuff we're going to bypass because that really doesn't apply to us. Let's see. My listings, obviously, don't have any listings. Sample listings, we can increase this to multiple listings and see quickly all of the different pricing, photo scores, all that stuff. Days to ship doesn't matter. Now, one thing that's interesting here is this little column called tags. Are you familiar with what tags are on Etsy?
Yes.
Tags are something that we don't have on Amazon, but is a freaking game changer for me, okay? Because we talk about all the time relevancy. Which keywords are we attaching to a product? And sometimes we can't even find a keyword for a product. But what Etsy sellers do is they attach their own keywords to the products, and they call those tags. So you can see it in this column here. You can also see it with popular tags. So with the keyword egg tray and all the listings that show up like in the first 3 pages of egg trays, the tags that Etsy sellers are applying to those listings are listed here. 51 of them have egg tray, 21 deviled egg tray, 20 egg storage, 19 egg holder, 12 kitchen decor. Why is this important? Because the people selling these products are literally telling us how they're selling them, what they're tagging, and what they're prioritizing. If you think about Amazon and Helium 10, you know, the closest thing we have is Cerebro, which is reverse ASIN, which is telling us what Amazon is tagging as keywords associated to it. Marmalade and through tags in Etsy are showing us what the sellers are attaching to it. They don't always line up, right? So this is actually more relevant and more direct Really, really helps us. This is some powerful stuff. Then we have similar shopper searches. We have some long tail alternatives. We know all about that stuff. You can go through here and do some things. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but things like storm, right? So if we type in a keyword, we can create a storm, which will allow us to organize them, right? So if we go to egg tray, a lot of these things are irrelevant, right? So I'm going to take off the irrelevant ones, dice tray, D&D, but also this is giving us what they're suggesting is related. So if I scroll through here, I'm looking at like D&D, that's weird. Like, I know what that is. That's Dungeons and Dragon and Yawny Egg. So I'm looking at unique keywords, but then I can also start to identify, hey, different like categorized things. So egg apron, egg cartoons, egg coddler, egg coddlers, egg stamp. That looks, I'm not even sure what all that stuff is. But what I can do is I can go in here, and as I'm identifying ones that look like they could be related to the same product, I can click this button here, and it will actually move them into a list up here. It's called a bucket. And then I can save these. So these aren't actually related, but as an example, you can get all these different keyword ideas here and start categorizing them into buckets that you save for later, which is a great organization. There's all sorts of other tracking things, tracking how many shops are competing for certain tags, average price comparison over a certain period of time. You see this goes back a few months, all sorts of good stuff. I really like this. Trending this week on Pinterest. This is more information than Pinterest even gives me. They give me product ideas that are always updated, right? So this is what's trending either up or down or what's moving around. The upward trends are really cool because I can actually track keywords that are trending up on Pinterest, and I can go in here and start digging around for more data on that, which is really, really huge. Because remember, we looked at Pinterest, we had to go to Pinterest with a product or a niche idea or category. This, I can start off with stuff that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know such thing as beaded curtains existed. But based on this, it's trending up in Pinterest. Now I can click this, it jumps straight into my keyword analyzation. I can look at all the other tags, all that good stuff. So long story short, this isn't brand new because it's looking at Etsy, which we've talked about. But what is brand new is some of the topics in here and the way that the tagging is shown and the keywords are shown. Things are organized, the way we can do buckets within storms. It's huge. I don't know the last time I actually went to Etsy to look for product ideas, but I consistently go to Marmalade, and it's become one of my top tools of choice. And like I said, I've shared this like to my coaching program. I've never shared this massively publicly. So you guys are really the first ones to see this. So if you haven't played with Marmalade, go check it out. Just for sake of time, I couldn't go into a ton of the different individual use cases for it, but there's a ton of good stuff in there. Check that out. So hopefully some of this has helped you. You can tack this on to the idea generation locations that we gave you earlier in Project X. All brand new stuff that I'm using more and more through 2020 and going into 2021.
I like it, guys. And remember, maybe the first time you saw the first episodes of Project X and we were talking about how to find products on Etsy and Pinterest, it might have been brand new to you. It might have been a completely revolutionary way for you to find product opportunity. Maybe it was the time where he talked about looking at gift boxes and things like that. Well, guys, there's always going to be new ways to search for product opportunity, all right? And none of these are gonna be 100% saturated. Even if everybody starts doing something, guess what? There's still gonna be new gift boxes that come out. There's still gonna be new trending things on Pinterest always. So don't just laser focus your product research with just, hey, I'm just going to use Black Box and I'm just gonna do it for products, or I'm just gonna do that. No, use a varied method of searching for product, and it's gonna give you a much better chance to find that one that might be your next home run product. Now, we went from some kind of negative news, me always running out of inventory, some positive things, some new ways to do product research. Now let's go back to some negative things, but it's still gonna be a positive for you guys. And that's how I almost lost about $2,500 from the company. So how this happened, or how I figured this out, a few months ago, I was making some new videos for the profitability calculator. We had done a refresh of our Chrome extension. And so right now I'm gonna have Kevin put in here the video. Watch exactly as I did this live. But we're doing this live. We don't have notes. We don't have, we're not looking at a teleprompter that we scripted all this stuff out. We're just kind of like talking from the hip. That's how Tim and I roll. That's how I do training videos. I just do it completely live with no prep at all. So watch my natural reactions of what happened in this video here.
Of the package, not the actual product, but the shipping size. This is directly from Amazon for this listing. It's also getting the weight of the package. All right, it's only 2 pounds, but notice here how Amazon is charging 8 pounds. All right, they're charging an 8 pound rate for this, and I actually want to take a look at that because I think they might be charging us a little bit too much. I think they increase this. I'm gonna have to check my alerts to see if they changed our dimensions. But
now, if you heard me, I did a double take and I was like, wait a minute, I think that Amazon's charging me too much, you know, for this. I was like, I don't remember this costing that much in Amazon fees. So what I did when as soon as I finished recording that video, I went to Helium 10 alerts, and I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna put up on the screen right now what I saw. So as you see, Amazon increased the length and the height, or the width and the height of the coffin shelf. It went from 4 inches to 7.5 inches, and the width went from 7.5 inches to almost 10 inches. Now you might be thinking like 1 inch, 2 inches, like why does this make a big deal? Now, first of all, how does this happen? Like Tim, like how does this even happen? This is not a uncommon occurrence, right?
Well, that's kind of the question of the century, is how does this bad information get put in there? But there's really a couple different ways. One is sometimes Amazon's servers just get things mixed up. Like there are honest to goodness tech mistakes. The second thing that happens is people actually go in and input changes. They call it Cubiscans, right? So Amazon employees will regularly go through their inventory in FBA and they'll measure stuff. And a lot of times there's mistakes being made because they're told to measure these coffin shelves in our bin, and they'll accidentally grab the product in the bin beside it, and they'll pull it out and measure it and input the new measurements, which are actually for a larger product. So there's a lot of ways this can happen. But this is something that you need to monitor, because I can't tell you over the past several years how many times Amazon has changed my product dimensions and or my weight, and it starts costing me a lot of money and I have no idea it's actually happening.
Exactly. So my next step was, I was like, you know, sometimes they do it and it doesn't make a difference. You know, it's like sometimes 1 inch might not make a difference. So I was like, did this make a difference? So the next step, what I did was I went in the Chrome extension and I used profitability calculator on the page just to get a rough idea. What I did was I entered in the dimensions, or actually it already was there, the dimensions that Amazon changed it to, because this was actually live. It was live for months on Amazon. And take a look here. You guys will see this on the screen here. It was charging me an FBA fee of $7.32. All right, $7.32. Now what I did was I went back into the profitability calculator and I put what the real dimensions were, what they're supposed to be. And let's just see. Take a look, guys. $5.80, because it went from a dimensional weight of 8 pounds to 4 pounds just because of those few inches that it raised it. Now, again, you might be thinking, what is that a big deal? $7 and some change compared to $5.80. Now, since November of the previous year, we had sold about 2,000 coffin shelves. Now, if you multiply that out, Amazon was charging $1.52 per unit more than what they did. Now, my computer like mine says that that's about $3,000 right there, that Amazon charged us more. Now, this should never have happened. Why is that? I had alerts on. We showed you guys in the earlier episodes of Project X, turn this on from day one. I had alerts on. Take a look at this clip from a previous Project X episode. This was live from YouTube. It's right here in Freedom Ticket. Take a look at this clip of what I found later when I was going back and wondering how I missed this. Take a look. Let me see if there's actually been anything happen on the event history right here. Oh shoot. I didn't even notice this. We gotta check this. They are saying that instead of 4 inches by 14 inches by 7 inches, they did change. When was this? A couple weeks ago, they changed it. So we got to make sure that we're not getting a new fee. That is something that I definitely want to take a look. Here I'm talking. This is the first time I'm actually looking at this, guys. So this is exactly what we don't want to see. So how can I know? You guys hear what I said right there? I said, right as I was recording that video live, I says, I need to check what happened. Because we saw that. We saw the alert that Amazon changed it months ago. And then we completely forgot about it. I never went back and did it, all right? So how did I fix this, all right? So if this happens to you, hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully you have alerts on, and then as soon as you get the alert, you're actually gonna take action on it. But let's just say you didn't know about any of this and you're doing an audit on your account and you notice that Amazon has had the wrong dimension. So what I did, I took the package of the coffin shelf, I measured it all out to prove it, and I took pictures. I'm like, Amazon, on this date, you guys changed the packaging dimensions, but please view here, this is what it's supposed to be. Can you please turn it back, change it again, and also can I get reimbursed for all this months and months that you guys have been overcharging me? Now, the problem was I didn't do it in time. Like, Amazon only will refund you for if you find it out in the last 90 days. So they refunded me everything I was charged in the previous 90 days since I reported. So it was about $2,300. So I did end up losing that $700. So just keep that in mind, guys. You gotta catch these mistakes right away. And guess what? The day that Amazon changed it, Helium 10 tried to alert me and I just completely disregarded it. So that is a good lesson for you. You might not have even known that Amazon does that to your packages sometimes. So make sure that you use alerts on everything so that you'll be notified when it happens. And then you'll be able to open up a case with Amazon to get it changed right away.
All right, so if you've been watching the entire Project X journey, we started off over a year ago actually filming. We've covered a lot of ground, and we really hit a lot of this concept of finding this Yeti product, right? But there is so much more to selling. And even with just the Project X products, the coffin shelf and the egg tray, there's so much more that we would like to do. There's so much more that we want to show you. So we're going to do it. And this is the first episode that we've taken Project X and put it in Freedom Ticket. There's going to be more episodes, and we're actually bringing on more people. So we're going to start diving deep into things like PPC, outside traffic, different analytics tools. There's a ton of stuff that we're going to start covering. Anything else that you can think of?
We're going to go into enhanced brand content, brand registry, getting a trademark. I'm going to try and bring in somebody to talk about patents and things like that. We don't have a patent on anything right now. In what situations does a patent make sense? You know, maybe I'll just try and get a patent on the coffin shelf just to show you guys the process.
Yeah.
We're going to show you guys as much of these advanced tactics as possible. And everything we've said up to this point is kind of like bread and butter. They need to do everything that we've said. Now we're getting to the point where it's like, it's optional. Like, you don't need to get a patent on your egg tray or coffin shelf.
And you probably can't get a patent.
You probably couldn't anyways. You don't need to make an Instagram account for your brand or anything. But we're gonna show you how to do it because in some situations, it could probably help their business.
Yeah, so make sure that you keep watching. There's going to be episodes that keep coming out where we get deeper and deeper into these products. And like I said, Bradley's going to bring on other folks that are much more specialized than myself in a lot of these topics. So make sure that you keep tuning into this series of videos and this series of content within Freedom Ticket, and it's going to keep on coming. And as changes happen, you know, in the last episode that we did, episode 16, we talked about some changes that happened just from when we first started filming. As changes continue to happen, we're going to keep track of those. We're going to keep coming and updating you. So make sure that you pay attention to future content that's released. You can stay up to date, super relevant, and as recent and current as possible.
So guys, thank you so much for tuning in here to this special Freedom Ticket edition of Project X. We'll see you guys in the next module.